The Power of Listening Psychology of Making People Trust You Introduction. The forgotten art of listening in a world filled with noise, competition, and endless distractions. One simple act has become rare listening. Not the shallow kind of listening where your ears catch words but your mind is already crafting a reply. I'm talking about deep, intentional listening, where you give someone your full presence. Listening is powerful. It can heal broken relationships, open doors to trust, and make others feel seen in a world that constantly overlooks them. Most people underestimate it because listening doesn't look like action, it looks like stillness. Yet, psychology shows us that listening is the foundation of human connection. For anyone over 25, juggling work, relationships, and responsibilities, mastering the art of listening isn't just a skill. It's a way to transform the quality of your life. In this journey, we'll explore why listening matters. What happens in the brain when someone feels truly heard? Why trust is built through silence more than words, and practical steps you can take to become the kind of person people naturally confide in. Asterisk. 1. Why listening builds trust. Trust isn't built on how much you talk, but on how deeply you listen. When you listen, you communicate something far greater than words. You matter. Your thoughts have value. Your feelings are safe here. The psychology behind it. Validation neuroscience shows that when someone feels heard, their brain releases oxytocin, the hormone of bonding and trust. Safety. Listening signals safety. When people feel listened to, their defenses lower. They no longer feel the need to prove, defend, or perform. Empathy. Trust grows not when you solve someone's problem, but when you show them you care enough to understand it. Example, think about the last time someone truly listened to you without interrupting. You probably walked away thinking, this person understands me. That moment of being understood is the seed of trust. Asterisk 2. The barriers to true listening. If listening is so powerful, why don't we do it more often? It's because real listening requires humility, patience, and emotional maturity, qualities that modern life often undermines. Common barriers. Ego. We want to speak to prove our worth rather than pause and receive. Distractions, phones, notifications, or simply being in a rush pull us away from the present moment. Judgment. Instead of listening, we evaluate, compare, or silently disagree. Fear of silence. Many fear silence in conversations, rushing to fill gaps instead of allowing space for reflection. The cost of poor listening: when people feel ignored, they withdraw, they stop sharing. Over time, trust erodes. Marriages weaken, friendships fade, and teams at work fall apart, not because of dramatic betrayals, but because no one felt truly heard. Asterisk 3. Deep listening versus surface listening. Not all listening is equal. Psychology distinguishes between surface listening and deep listening. Surface listening, you hear the words but prepare your reply at the same time. You nod, but you're half in your head. Deep listening, you slow down. You absorb not just the words, but the emotions behind them. You notice tone, pauses, and even silence. How to practice deep listening. Pause before responding. Give yourself a moment to reflect instead of jumping in. Mirror emotions. Say, it sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed, rather than offering advice too quickly. Ask, don't assume. Curiosity keeps you from projecting your own story onto theirs. Deep listening requires practice, but over time, it becomes a natural way of connecting. Asterisk 4. The role of silence in building trust. Most people fear silence. They rush to fill it with chatter, yet silence is where trust breathes. Why silence matters: it gives the speaker space to find their words. Shows you're not in a hurry, which communicates respect. It allows deeper emotions to surface. Often, what people say after a pause is what they truly mean. Psychology shows that silence in conversation builds intimacy, slows down the rhythm, allowing both hearts and minds to connect. Asterisk 5. Listening in relationships for couples, friends, and families. Listening is the glue that holds everything together. In marriage, spouses who feel heard report higher levels of satisfaction. Listening prevents small frustrations from turning into deep resentments. With children, when children feel listened to, they develop stronger self-esteem. They grow up believing their voice matters. With friends, the best friends aren't those who always give advice, they're the ones who sit with you, letting you unfold your story. If you want love to grow, learn to listen before you speak. *6. Listening in leadership and work in the workplace. Listening is the hidden superpower of great leaders. Employees don't leave jobs, they leave managers who don't listen. Leaders who listen create cultures of trust where people feel safe to innovate. Listening also resolves conflicts faster, because most arguments don't come from disagreements over facts, but from people feeling unseen. The leader who listens commands more respect than the one who constantly talks. *7. The emotional healing power of listening. Sometimes people don't need advice. They don't need solutions. They simply need to be heard. When someone listens to your pain without judgment, something shifts inside you. Psychology calls this emotional catharsis, a release that happens when unspoken feelings finally find a home. That's why therapists often say the healing begins when the story is told. But you don't need to be a therapist. Can be a friend, a spouse, a sibling who offers that healing gift. *8. Practical steps. How to listen and build trust at home now. Let's turn inspiration into action. Here are practical ways you can apply the power of listening in daily life. Put away distractions when someone speaks. Set down your phone. Presence builds trust instantly. Maintain gentle eye contact. Not a stare, but a soft focus that says, "I'm with you." Validate feelings. Use phrases like, "That must be hard," or "I hear you." Ask open questions instead of, "Are you okay?" Try what's on your mind. Be comfortable with pauses. Don't rush to fill silence, it invites honesty. Listen more than you speak. Aim for a 70-30 ratio. Listen 70%, speak 30%. Follow up later, a simple, "I've been thinking about what you shared," deepens trust further. These aren't techniques to manipulate. They're habits that reflect genuine care. *9. The transformation listening brings. When you practice deep listening, something amazing happens. People start opening up to you. Conflicts diminish. Relationships grow richer. And within yourself, you develop patience, humility, and wisdom. Listening transforms not just your connections, but also your character. It turns you into a person of depth, someone others respect and trust. Conclusion: be the person who listens in a society where everyone is shouting to be heard. The quiet listener becomes magnetic. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to impress with fancy words. You only need to listen with your ears, your eyes, and your heart. The psychology is clear. Listening creates trust. Practice is simple. Presence, silence, empathy. And the impact is profound. Lives healed, relationships restored, and a world that feels just a little less lonely. So I ask you, will you be the person who listens? Will you be the safe space in someone else's storm? At Awaken Mindset, our mission is to help you unlock deeper wisdom, richer relationships, and a stronger inner life. If this message has touched you, I invite you to support our channels, subscribe, share this video, view and explore our playlist of inspiring content. Because sometimes, the most powerful way to change the world, simply to listen.